Hi YouTube, Maggie Beckett here, the Cripple in Kansai. Almost a week has passed since my article in Japan Times was published. It's actually published last Thursday, I think. Yeah, Thursday, 28th of November. I just wanted to come online and thank everyone who read, bought, retweeted, commented, talked about. Particular thanks to Hiko, Simon and Victor, Give Me a Flake Man. The Oyajis who mentioned it on their show. Hiko mentioned it again on his Tokyo Tonight show. I might add some links to that, because actually, aside from the discussion on mentioning rather than my work, there was a really good discussion on Senkaku and State Secrets on that Oyaji show, and Hiko Simon actually said on his own show that he thought that was one of their best shows, so I might just put a link out there so you can all read it. Apple juice. Bit of sore throat. But whilst I have you, I thought, a few of you was saying how you were surprised that, it's very different from your own perspectives being a foreigner in Japan, that foreigners could be liberatory. I just want to talk about that a bit, because why not? Because I do think that in some of the sort of way we talk about being a foreigner, that I never understood why it's entirely negative. It's all when people say that, when they say gaijin or when they say I'm a foreigner, people say, "Oh, you're not part of the society," because you are. Foreigners are part of the society, even if you're on the outside or the outer edges of society. That's still a part of society, and in some ways, I do think we've lost the value in that perspective. But it's okay not to, just because you're not wholly accepted, just because you're not at the very centre, as it were, doesn't mean to say that you're not part of it. And doesn't mean to say that your perspective isn't interesting or valid, or, it's not some subcultural thing. It's a part of society and should be respected. And I really do think, actually, we have lost value in the outsider perspective. The man I quoted at the beginning of the article, Donald Ritchie, his most famous article, and his best one in my view still, which he wrote very late in life, about 1993. He had lived in Japan since almost the initial occupation, 1946, moved permanently about 1952. And his most famous article, even after being in the society for 50 years, is on being a foreigner in Japan. He understood that even though he was quite fluent, understood Japanese society, understood its mores and all aspects of it, he understood that ultimately, yes, he was a foreigner. And he saw value in that perspective. And I just think, yes, it's right to want to be integrated. Yes, you should learn a language. I'm really bad for learning Japanese, but I am trying. But at the same point, it's okay if you find yourself one day, integrated. But the lack of integration should not be seen as a negative thing all the time. And I guess my perspective as being disabled means that wherever I am a stranger in a strange land. I've never felt more isolated than in the UK, more alone than when I was in the UK. I'm not saying anything bad about the UK itself. It's a nice place, more or less. It's not so nice at the moment, actually, the recession. But, and I miss the people there, I miss the places a little bit. But yeah, I was isolated because of my disability. The title of the article is very well put: "Disabled and Isn't Just Foreign in Japan." And that's don't really have an end to that sentence. It's just find value in outsider perspective. That's my learn to embrace the fact that you are not one of us. And I said, try at least I always feel when you were talking about being a foreigner, try not to sell that as a negative thing, as it sometimes does get put. Anyway, As I said, I don't really have an ending to this. I said I'll put a link to that 2.5 Oyajis show here as well, I think. So, sorry to go on. Once again, to round up, thank you very much for retweets, emails, messages, notices. Really cool. Thanks for reading. Bye.